Hello, everybody! Welcome to the last round of the Swiss for the ProQuest Plus at the Hardened Stockholm. Are you ready? Are you excited?
I'm excited. This is a matchup between Shane and Visterai, and if I understood correctly, it's a win and in for Christopher, our Visterai player, no, our Shane player.
Yes, Christopher might be able to sneak in. Depends on how the other rounds go. So this is exciting. And the Willy is playing for standings.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, for
know.
the sake of it, I'm
Yeah.
sure Christopher wouldn't want a buy in the last round to
No,
get into the
no,
top 8 either.
of course not. You want to win for your own effort and
Yeah,
because you're good, not that God hands you the top 8. And this is an exciting, the Battle of the Rune Blades. I do believe that it's Chain's job to kill Viscerai before Viscerai wins.
I would imagine because we've seen we've seen at least 2 Shanes on stream so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know somewhat how they do function, but we saw a lot of Visterai on yesterday's stream when
Yes.
it was classic constructed, but we haven't seen a Visterai in Living Legend so
No,
far.
it's very different. It's more of a one-turn kill style, or OTK as it's called.
And I'm looking forward to see if he can make good use of the band chest piece.
Blood Chief Skelata. What a card.
Amazing artwork, great design, but a bit overboard.
Yes, it was a reason that Viscerai was the first hero to LL in the game. Actually, did you know that?
No?
He LL'd in Blitz.
Aha.
The first hero to ever LL was Viscerai with this card. And I was playing in the calling Krakow, and it was super fun. But the meta was extremely broken. What people imagine LL is what that Blitz format was. It was turn 2 kills consistently. Did you know what the secret meta breaking tech was?
No.
So everybody was talking about it. CC. Oh, I have to get skull cap. I'll continue the story. Let's just focus. Okay, so here we see not the best Mordor Tide, only making 2 rune chants. Pitching 2 reds is not usually the place you want to be. But let's see if he has a follow-up or if his Villa is just gonna Arsenal. Yeah, so
it's something.
it's a hand. You start your game plan. You usually want to do it, but
I think if I catch correctly, he had like a Rattle Bones and not Oath of the Ark Knight. Was the big attack?
yes, the cost.
Amplified Ark Knight.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's nothing he even could play there if he wanted to.
Yes, so let's see if we reveal to Minuism, which I'm pretty sure we will do. We'll show another Minuism. This is also a ban card in constructed.
Yeah, it's a belittle fetching a Minuism.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a strong interaction. As we said before, you can, if you need damage, you can fetch the red Minuism. If you need more resources, you can fetch the blue one.
Yes, so it's it was way too good for the aggro decks to be able to get out of jail free cards from the ice decks.
Yep.
Yes, so the secret tech in the Viscerai mirror or Viscerai General was to play Hope Merchant's Hood. So you could draw a new hand to try to turn to kill faster than the opponent.
Yeah, my god, that sounds awful.
Yeah, that format was very. It truly lived up to the name that it's Blitz.
I must say it's inventive to come up with that strategy, but I wouldn't want that to be my standard format or how I should put it.
So this is interesting because I watched Christopher play it, and he should supposed to close the chain here. He probably just forgot, but he's choosing to play Duskblade in this matchup instead of playing Rosetta Thorn, which I saw he played into Guardian. And I really enjoyed Duskblade into Guardian, so it's interesting that he takes it into Viscerai. But Viscerai is kind of a Guardian, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I remember we talked about the Duskblade on stream a couple of matches ago, because this is so far, as far as I know, the only card that was banned before release.
Yes, it's the only card that have been emergency banned.
Yeah.
Hopefully the only card that will be emergency banned.
Hopefully. But I mean, your point back then when we talked about it was being that it's what makes it so powerful is that your opponent cannot interact with it.
Yes.
As long as you decide you want to keep on growing Duskblade, and you have to draw 1 attack and 1 non-attack card.
Yes, and you don't even need to attack with Duskblade.
No, as long as you played it, you will get to keep the counters.
Yes. So Ville is not going to go for the OTK. Maybe he didn't see the opportunity and
Didn't see the memo.
yeah, and has to try to raise Christopher, because usually the Visrai plays a lot of like defensive tools, but there's no defensive tool here. So maybe it's just like aggro Visrai but with Rosetta Thorn.
Yeah. And Bloodsheen Skeleton.
Yeah, that card does work for sure. So this is going to be interesting, that's for sure. So if the chain draws cards with his ability, then he should be able to out aggro the Visrai player.
Probably he can put together such a, no, maybe not the fastest of clocks, but like an inevitability in some way, because he will have like start playing with two hands in a couple of turns. Like one from his banish zone and one from his actual hand.
Yes.
Card from deck.
So we might see that Christopher is okay losing the counter here and just try to preserve life and building shackles so he can cash in his husk and take the tempo. You also see a very cool card in that Fjendal's Tome.
Yeah, Tome of Fjendal.
So the reason he plays it is because he plays a shadow card that makes you eloquence token, so it can get go again.
Yep. And it's a way different card. And usually Tome of Fjendal is pay 1, draw 2.
Yes.
And if you happen to play it from your arsenal, you get a life for each card in your hand. And
yes.
That's fair enough. But the issue being that it doesn't have go again in itself.
Yes.
So you would need more action points.
Yes.
And if you get those from eloquence tokens, it's just pure fuel. One resource, draw 2. It's a really, really powerful card.
You also are creepers, so you can play it as an instant speed. Even you don't get an extra action point, but then you can draw the cards. One of the cards lost to the sands of time when we started to hate reading.
Yeah, we did the burning a while back.
So here we see Ville just going ham, playing aggro Visrai. So maybe he just prefers the aggro style compared to OTK, and he just wants to not give chain the ability to scale.
Would it be possible that this is like a plan specifically for Shane?
Yeah.
I don't know if you, let's say if they were just purely racing, attacking back and forth.
Yes.
Who do you think would come out on top?
That depends on if they're just racing. Let's say they both draw. Okay, I think Visrai.
No one is blocking. They're just attacking each other.
If nothing changes, then I think Visrai is slightly faster. But if Chain draws cards with his ability, he should be faster.
Yep.
And he's going to get extra health from that husk somewhere in this equation.
Yeah.
Oh, and here we see this Chain specialization card. Shadow Reaping or Soul Reaping. It's also a very unique card in the Chain deck, one of its kind. So it lets you banish as many cards you want from your hand, and for each card with Blood Up, you get a resource. And if you're attacking a hero with cards in their soul, it gets go again. So usually the last text is flavor text, but it's also still a 0 for 6 that gives you a resource.
Yep.
And kinda draws you a card.
And it's interesting because we see the first hit from Christopher Soul Shackle was Eclipse.
Yes, my friend Urser.
Yeah, we saw that on stream before, getting an Eclipse out. When Urser has the same ability that Soul Reaping has.
Yes.
If you're attacking a hero with a card in Soul, it actually gets go again.
Yes.
So in that case, it meant that the opposing Prism couldn't use Soul Shield. Because that would give Urser free go again. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so here we see your favorite card, Creepers, getting activated to draw 2 cards.
Yes.
And I think the reason he's doing this is because he has not played a non-attack, so he can't play the Bounding Demigon, and he can't play, and he will lose his counter on Duskblade. So the big question is now, what does he value? I think you save the seeds in the arsenal just attack with Duskblade, making it go up to 4.
Let's see, does he have... He got an action point. He gave the Soul Reaping go again with the Soul
Yes.
Shackle. And then he used
Creepers.
Creepers to play Tome at instant speed.
Yes, so it's only one
yeah,
action
still
point.
one action point, yeah.
So he can only present one more attack this turn. So
And it looks like he has Seeds of Tomorrow, no, Seeds of Agony, and what else in hand?
it is a blue Soul of Urser, or
Yeah, another Urser.
yes. So it
Yeah.
gives it's a 2 attack that costs 0, and you may banish a blooded card to give it go again.
And you can play
so
the card from
so
your
he
balance
can
zone.
he can attack with it, put seeds, give it go again, and then attack with Duskblade.
Yeah.
But it's like
It can also be that he wants to, because he sees that Ville doesn't have any arcane barrier.
so he wants to keep
Might be that he wants to keep the boot around for another day.
Yes. So here we see Christopher might not know that he's supposed. Yeah, there is. He was just thinking. So yeah, he's closing the chain and then presenting 5. So this is 1 more damage than the Duskblade now, but the Duskblade will be more damage later.
Yeah, and he gets to keep his boots.
Yeah, so I think it's fair to keep the boots here because it's guaranteed. Your opponent doesn't have any agency here.
Yeah, and worst case, he also as we said before, it's still $100 iron rot boots.
Yeah,
he can block with them.
true. It's also another argument to do this is that you can you take 1 less. You don't take 0 blood depth.
Yeah, that's true.
So here Ville blocks with Balance of Justice and cracks it. Unlike in CC, where it's not that popular anymore, it's still extremely good in Living Legend. Now Ville has a 5-card hand. That's pretty crazy. I wonder if Ville should have dealt less damage last turn
To have an arsenal.
Then have a 6-card hand here.
Imagine if you had a rune flash. I think he could have had a red rune flash in arsenal, for example.
Yes, he could have saved the rune flash for sure. And then Ville Christopher would have been at 5 more health, so 26. But it's still, I think this turn will go absolutely bananas.
Yep, will still be a very good turn.
Yes.
We have what's it called? Succumb to Temptation. We can see in hand.
And a Mordred Tide.
And a Mordred. Oh my god, this is a big one.
So, but and a Malefic in play. So we're eating good. This should be quite the turn. There we go, Mordred Tide. 1 more rune chats for everything. Dirge. So this will trigger Viscerai, making you 2 rune chats, and then you can sack one of them to make 4.
Yeah.
Now we see very clean play by Ville, doing it slowly, so Christopher knows there's no funny business, knows exactly what's going on. Just clean, nice play. We would love to see it. What's the follow-up? I think that's a draw to the Dark Dimension. Nice. So here we'll create 4 rune chants on the back and attack for a solid 8. So after pinging for 5 arcane, Ville will draw a card, and I think he's going to activate Boots on this turn.
Yep. And I mean, there is a scenario where Christopher actually uses his AB from Vexing Quill hand to prevent all arcane, but I have a really hard time seeing it. I think he has to be content with just taking as much damage as he can.
The problem is he's only unshackled 2.
Yeah, but do you think he would have the defensive capabilities of holding on? I mean, he has 6 in his husk.
Yes, but you will almost never get the full 6 from it.
But there are 6s in the Viscerai deck, but not many of them. Let's say he managed to block like 4 with it. At least 4 should be possible.
Yes.
And he can block another big attack 4 or 5 with the Face Purgatory and Dorm card. So he can make use of his equipment, but he would need at least 1 or 2 more turns with adding soul shackles, I think, to make
Yes.
this really, really good wide turns and make use of the eclipse.
Yes, okay, I don't think the Eclipse is going to show up this game.
He would need 6.
6 Blood card
Yeah.
is still really hard to do. I think around Soul Shackle 4 or 5, it's very possible.
Mm.
But that's eons past this turn
Yeah.
when we're just racing. And the problem with Chain is that he really doesn't want to block with his blues.
Mm.
Here we see Husk effectively blocking 2, not
3.
Yes,
It's
but
well
it takes a damage on your turn.
Yeah, okay.
So you're kind of just blocking 2,
That's true.
and then you're blocking 1, and then you're blocking 0. Oh yeah, I think he was joking. It's always fun when you're a chain player to do like Kodachi and then pretend to slam the Husk in front of it.
But I mean, it's I wouldn't be. It might be a legit play in the sense if Christopher is afraid of not having any use of Husk at all, because whatever next attack is, there will be 4 arcane
Yes.
coming in at his face, and if he goes down to 13 or less, the Husk will be gone at the beginning of his turn. He won't get to use it at all. So it might be he don't know what's in Ville's hand.
Yes.
Might be that he just considers using it so that Ville won't have the chance to just attack with build rune chants with, like, for example, playing more malefics, incantations, or not Reverend Rude Blunt, but what's the other one?
The reduced runes.
No, whatevs. If he decides to play more rune chants and end with like a Rosetta Thorn, he will.
Yes.
The
Then you get even less
value out of it.
So this is interesting. He blocks with the Face Purgatory, activating the trigger. So it's like he's overblocking, but you're removing a card, so it's not that bad. And here we see the Succumb to get the action point back, make 2 more rune chants.
Yep.
And then it's probably just gonna be Rosetta Thorn. Oh, it's even more rune chants. So this is as you feared. The Husk is not going to be used this game.
Nope. Or wait, does he have resources? He might, if he pops a Skeletor. I don't think he has resources to attack with.
He's not going to attack. He's just gonna build
the
a
Husk will
lot.
live.
Okay, so
The Husk will live another day.
we might be able to Husk, but I am not comfortable in the chain position. My opponent has 6 more life, and he has 11 rune chants.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Here we see a nice pickup of the Blood Moon, a card I am a personally big favorite of, and especially with the Eloquence token, because then you can get more action points to do more shenanigans. It's a very simple card, but it does have different uses.
Yeah, and it's interesting that when you see so many cards in the Shane deck and Visceral deck for that matter, especially Shane, they don't look like they do much on the surface. But when you put all of them together to see what synergy they have, it becomes a whole different ball game. Especially, as you said, Blood Moon makes 1 rune chant.
Yes.
If an opponent has been taking damage, or anyone has been taking damage,
you just need to lose life.
Yeah, someone has to lose life. It would mean that you can play it as an instant.
Yes. So you can play it on their turn if you want to start with a rune chant. If you don't think you will deal damage on your turn.
Yep. And it's so valuable to be able to give back action points.
Yes, you need to keep going. So here we see I don't remember the name.
Runic Reclamation, I think.
Yeah, it's a sideboard card I often put into my deck, and then I regret putting it into my deck.
Well, it is. We saw it before versus Prism because it's a popper.
Yes, and it has text.
Yeah, it can destroy auras, and if you do, you get a rune chant token.
Yeah.
At this point, there are many auras to destroy.
Yes,
yeah.
You have 12 dealer's choice.
Yeah, if you play 11 more Runic Reckoning, Runic Reclamation, you might be able to kill all of them. But it will be tall order. But it's 7 damage and nothing to scoff at, but it's not... He would have loved to hit that Malefic Incantation way before.
Is he going to block with the Ninth Blade? Wow.
He has to have another one in hand, doesn't he?
No, he has Sonata, the third Sonata, the blue one. that where
Oh,
he can make X big, so he can force Christopher to discard 3 cards from his hand.
yes, and in conjunction with the Skeletor.
Yes, because it will give you
Oh, that's a
1.5.
nice one.
Yes, it will give you 1.5 the rune chance, and it will, if the X is big enough, then it will make your opponent discard 3 random cards. So usually when you play OTK Viscerai, you usually combine it with Mage Master Boots
Mhm.
to get the ability to go again. But it also might be fine just to make a lot of root chance. Your opponent has a dog turn because they lose 3 cards, and then next turn you kill them. So I think we're gonna see Vila is just going to activate. Oh, but he's lacking 1 rune chant. This is a little awkward.
But he has one card in hand, right?
Yeah, but that's the 9th blade he wants to arsenal.
I guess if he gets up to
He can also
22
just
rune chance.
yeah, you know, you only need 12 to get X is 6.
Let's see, how many would he get? Because if you use the skeleton at this point, it would be reduce the cost by 5.
No, it will reduce the cost by 5.
Yeah.
So by 11. You have 11 rune chants. So the XX would be 5.
Yeah, but exactly. Reduced by 11, X will be 5.
So you can't pitch the yellow to make it 12, but then
Yeah.
it doesn't have an arsenal, but then you still make 6 rune chants and your opponent discards 3 cards. It might be good enough.
But since the Sonata doesn't have action
Oh.
point,
He cracks his gloves. Now Christopher doesn't have AB anymore. This is interesting.
I would guess is that Christopher figures that I will not be able to attack win this in a fair way anyway. I just have to go all gas as far as I can.
Huh. And I think it's also to try to keep the Spellbound Creepers for one more turn, because funny enough, I feel the chain deck is more dependent on the creepers than the Viscerai deck.
Yep.
So he takes the Arcane, here is 2, without go again.
And it's interesting, we haven't seen this version of the deck before. We saw last chain on stream. I wouldn't say it was more straightforward, but we didn't see Duskblade, and we didn't make use of creepers the same way. Many cards were the same, but it seems like, at least in this matchup, it seems that the chain deck has to done a lot more jumping through hoops.
Yes. And Christopher said that his deck is highly experimental, which I think is funny. But I do believe that if he had Rosetta Thorn, I would have brought it in against Viscerai. But if he thought Ville was on a slow deck, then it makes much more sense to have the Duskblade. So now, since Ville took damage, he gets to make a root chant and keep the precious wall counter on the Duskblade. He's not really farming it the way it usually is. So
he is keeping counter and getting an arsenal.
Yes. So I think Ville is just happy. No, he's. Oh, doesn't Ville? Oh yeah, he's gonna pitch for it. Yeah. I think if you crack, you commit to pitch for it because you make 6 rune chants and you stop your opponent's turn.
Yeah, Shane will get to keep 1 card.
Yes.
And will be facing
and
down.
It's random.
Yeah.
So if
plus he just gave away his only arcane barrier.
Yeah, so it makes sense. Now you have lethal if you just take the turn.
Yep.
And so there is a string of cards that might help Christopher here. And it involves him keeping a blue and hitting cards off the Soul Shackle.
Maybe if he can Art of War now, as we can see him having Art of War in hand. If he managed to banish the right card to begin with, a card, for example, not called Riftbind. No, the one card that comes in for 4, it's a 0/4/4 that you can play from banished. He has it in hand.
Yes, it's I know exactly what the card you're talking about.
Something Shadow Rift.
Yeah. But the problem is that you have to have played a non-attack. And I do believe he has a non-attack in his arsenal.
Mhm.
Bounding Demagon is the count
Yeah.
called. But the problem is then, if he does that, then all he's doing is attacking for 5, unless there are more 0 cost cards. Zero cost cards he hits from the soul shackles.
Mm. Let's see how Christopher's in the think tank.
Yes, so
Deciding to Art of War in
he's
response.
going to go for it. So he's going to banish, and he says, okay, I need to draw well. Why would you pick the draw option?
Don't know.
There are no other cards you can play at instant speed. I mean, if you draw another
another
Art of War,
yeah. But that might be his only out at this point.
yeah, because he's facing down 17 rune chance at
Yeah.
life of 16.
Yeah.
And it's only one Rift Bind, which he can't play because he doesn't have any resources.
Shadow Puppetry.
Yes, it gives the next attack you play +1 and go again. And on hit, look at the top card of your deck. You may banish it. It's quite cool because this is it's one of the few cards that works on every card.
Yep.
And yeah, here Ville is going to say, "Look at my expensive iron rot.
Yeah.
I will block with it."
Blocking for 2 or 3.
No, so this is
Yeah.
5 on 5.
Yeah, he has to keep any card, literally any card except Gorganian Tome. He has to keep a card with some kind of pitch resource availability.
Yeah, he has to. His quest is to play a single card.
Yeah, and just keep one card for Rosetta, right?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as he can send those rune chants, he'll be fine.
Yes. Oh, he did it.
Yeah.
Christopher is like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he got
over.
it.
This is very interesting. This was not how I was going to be sure the matchup gone. Maybe Ville has practiced this matchup and knows that against Chain you have to side in aggressive.
Yeah, maybe, but you were talking about the Sonata. You're talking about OTK,
Yes.
and Sonata seems not an OTK per se, but you still, if you get rid of your opponent's hand on your turn, they get one card to play with, and you double your
Yeah, 1.5, so
your
50%.
Yeah, it would be a hard time surviving the rest.
Yeah, but the thing is that usually when you go for the OTK plan, you play Mage Master Boost.
Yeah,
So you build up like 20 rune chants, then you activate Mage Master,
on the same turn.
then you make 10 more. They have only one card to block with, and then you send 9th Blade and 30 plus rune chants.
Yeah. It makes sense. And I mean, it's got to be... there are a lot of room to build this in a lot more defensive shell.
Yes, because you can play the cool defense reaction that makes a rune chant, and it costs 0 if you have a rune chant.
Yeah, we saw no Seal of Suffering, no Sinks, no Fates.
No, he was here. He was here for a good time, not a long time. Ready to roam. So that was I think that's the quickest game we had on camera.
Yep, absolutely. And it's the last one before our Trap 8.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a short little break, and we will be back with the first round of top 8.
Yeah.